You ever hear the term pick up bad vibes around people, and pick up good vibes around people? And people talk about, oh, something's going on around here. I can't pick it, but there's something happening. For example, you ever gone in a room? There's been a fight in that room. Doesn't have to be physical, but verbal. But it's not happening now, and you walk in there and you pick up what's been going on around you in the spirit. You can actually feel it. People call it vibes. Others people say it's a gut feeling and all the rest. What about when you were a kid? Did you ever have fear in the house? You'd be in your bed at night and you feel all this fear around the place and um, think it's your imagination. I want to tell you and put it to you that that realm that you're feeling, that experience is very real. All the stuff, you see, we're spiritual beings, but all that stuff that you feel is real. You might think I'm out there, and I know this has happened to a lot of people. When I first come to faith, I felt this spiritual darkness entity actually pin me to the bed, hold my mouth, couldn't speak, couldn't do anything about it, and I'm crying out in my head, Jesus help, Jesus help. This really happened. The spiritual realm is more real than we give credit. You hear clairvoyance and all the rest. They're all tapping into the spiritual realm and all looking for all sorts of stuff and all the rest. And when I first come to faith, found Christ, I came out of the drug scene and all the spiritual darkness, there was fear all around me. Fear of the unknown, fear of the spiritual realm. I was so caught in that spiritual realm. Used to get blind drunk sometimes, have seances. I'm sure people have done stuff like that. But the day I found Christ, the day the Spirit of God, His beautiful presence, came and lived inside my heart, spiritual darkness left. You see, it says in the Bible, perfect love casts out all fear. Perfect love. Who's perfect love? That's Jesus. The moment He came in, perfect love transformed everything, transformed my heart. There was no more fear. It had gone. No more fear there. How awesome is that? This spiritual realm that people don't understand, they get controlled by all the time, get manipulated by. You can go into an area um, in some place and pick up something that's fearful, and you can start living by that. Did you know if you've got the presence of God in you, the love of God, the goodness of God, you can walk into a room where all that stuff is, and you can actually transform that room. But if you don't know how to do that, if all you're doing is living in religious stuff, you know what will happen? The room will transform you. I could go into a church and there's no presence of God there. They're just having a nice little read of the Bible. Boring. I'd have been dead by now if I had walked into that. I walked in the presence of God, had an encounter, transformed everything. You see, we need to be, as Christians, carrying that stuff, carrying the encounter, carrying fresh encounters all the time, carrying that presence. Because if you're not carrying that, you're going to carry what the world has, and that will dictate to you how to live. It'll control your life. It'll control everything. If a church does not know how to engage the presence of God, then I can guarantee you 100% the world's already engaged the church and actually taken it in its direction. Because it won't have any say, any voice. You need to understand the presence of God, the intimacy, the closeness, to engage Him and let Him take over. Because if you let the presence of God take over, everything will flow from that. But if you're not in that, you'll be dictated by the things of the world, whether you like it or not. You know that movie, The Matrix? I reckon it's a perfect example, a perfect analogy of how things are. Because that's talking about people hidden in a computer program and they don't even know they're hidden in there. Well, what if people are actually brainwashed by the spiritual realm of darkness and they don't even realize? And the last thing that spiritual realm wants you to do is to call out to Jesus. What if that's the truth? Well, friends, I have to tell you, I know that's the truth. The Bible says, Jesus says, people hate them without a cause. They don't even know why, because they're in spiritual darkness. The truth is, just like the Matrix, Spiritual darkness does not want you to know who Christ is, does not want you to know freedom, does not want you to know the love, the goodness, and kindness. Why? Because it'll set you free. It'll give you hope. It'll give you back your purpose and your identity and what you're called for in the first place. Otherwise, you're just going to go around doing what you always do. Okay, Sarah, Sarah. Let's get blind drunk. Let's take drugs. Let's do this. Let's do that. Who cares? And just walk in your blindness. And it'd be like, hey, stay asleep, stay asleep. But the moment you cry to Jesus, you begin to find out what truth really is. You want to come and find out more about this? Here's my plug. 49 Watton Street, Sundays, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We have Fresh Encounter Church. Not a lot of us, but the ones that are there are passionate and awake. We're having an absolute party.